Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint an autumn scene. We're going to have a little stream creek with some trees and a little stone bridge, I think. Yeah, should be simple. I'm going to try to make it a little bit beginner friendly and simplify the colors. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, buddy.
He's been on a chat tonight, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask us. Let's get started. Alrighty. Oops, I'm not quite centered there. Okay. I'm going to be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas today. I've just like pre-painted it with a very light coat of Quinacridone burnt orange. If you don't have that, just use kind of any, maybe burnt sienna or something like that. And I used a paper towel to rub it in because it was too dark, so I didn't want it to be super dark. But my colors in this one have a lot of orangey undertones, so I thought this would be a nice way to bring those out. Go over my colors. I've got burnt umber, burnt sienna. Here, what is going on with my camera? There we go, maybe. Burnt umber, burnt sienna, quinacridone, burnt orange, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow light, India yellow. Which one is that? That is Pyrrole orange, sorry. Quinacridone magenta. My brain blip there. Just could not come up with that color. Pyrrole orange. It's been a few weeks. Give me a chance. Last week was I'm booting up still. Quinacridone Magenta, Dioxazine Purple, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Cobalt Teal, Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Green Gold, Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, and Gloss Glazing Liquid. Hi everybody, hope you guys are doing well, and this is our first like normal lesson back from our last week. We painted a mystery painting, which turned out to be not so much of a mystery, but because I think people guessed it almost right away, but it was fun. Yeah, it was. I always like those ones. Okay, so I've already kind of pre-mapped out my drawing just to kind of try to get the perspective right. So our bridge is somewhere kind of right, almost halfway, which maybe just below the halfway mark. So if you kind of make a line halfway and then put your bridge just below it, and then it kind of pinches, this perspective goes off this direction here, and it curves this way, and then our walkway kind of goes off here and curves in here towards the bridge right there, and then widens out, and then this line is almost to the corner here. It goes this way, so I don't know. I'll work on this line. I did it like a million times, so now it's like an inch thick, but we'll get it there. All right, let's get going here. So for something like this, when I want to change the colors were actually green. I used a filter. That's why it kind of looks funky on the reference, because those filters kind of add their own, like, you know, stylization sometimes. But I didn't want to do just all greens. The photo, it's all greens. So I wanted it to be more of a fall themed painting. So we're just going to kind of add some warmer colors to the trees and just try to make them all a little bit different color. The filter actually did a really good job of doing that. And so we're just going to kind of go with those colors and make the best of it. So let's go ahead and put in some darker colors. Generally, when you're doing trees and things, you kind of want some darker colors in there. I also want to do my sky, so maybe we'll start there and do the sky first, and then work in some darker colors into our trees. Here, let me get, I didn't talk about my brushes. Let me go ahead and grab an 8 flat from the Princeton short handle Aspen. And what blue is that? Let's do kind of a mid-tone blue with just sort of half ultramarine and half half phthalo blue. That usually gives me a good like base blue that's not too purple and not too green. These two, ultramarine being the red leaning, more warm of the two, and then phthalo blue green shade being the cooler, more green leaning color. And then some white. There we go. We get a nice mid blue that's not cool and not warm, just kind of right in between. And when you want to get just a light value, you don't want to keep having to add white to your thing here. Just kind of wipe out most of the color and use what's left in your brush and get some white and just do that, what's left in your brush, and then you can generally get a fairly good light-ish tone. Might even go a little bit lighter than that, just like right at the tree line there. And I'm going to go ahead and go over my tree line, and this whole corner is blue here, so just going to paint that in. But I do kind of want a little bit of that orangey tone maybe to peek through, so I'm not too worried about covering it completely. Let's get a little bit of water on my brush. And when I add water, I just dip the tip in there. I don't dunk it all the way. Here, I'll do it over here so you can see. I'm just kind of barely breaking the surface of the water. And that just wicks up just enough water into your brush. You don't want to ever dunk your brush into the water unless you're cleaning it out, because it just pulls way too much water into it, and then it's hard to control, and your paint gets too suppy.
You only want to dunk your donuts.
Right.
And I want to issue an apology right now.
What?
For any background crunchy styrofoam noises.
Mark's eating the chocolate cake that we got the other night.
Exactly, eating leftover chocolate cake.
We're not being very good. We cheated totally on our diet. We both went on a no carbs, no sweets diet before our trip, and lost a good amount of weight, both of us, and then totally just went off the rails during our vacation in every way. But
not too bad. We didn't gain much back.
No, we didn't gain a ton because we were walking a lot. But now now's the time when you need to be careful, because now we're used to eating carbs again, and it's like dangerous.
Well, also we're going to be going into the holidays.
Right.
And there's too much good stuff to eat during the holidays.
Too much.
I'm going to be walking like 63 miles a day.
Just to keep the weight off.
Exactly. I'm going to walk to work every day.
It's hard getting old because you just don't bounce back, you know?
From anything.
No, exactly.
Like, where did this bruise come from?
I bruised myself in the same place twice during our trip, and I think I figured out it was getting into the rental or the Ubers. Something about the Uber, the low, small, tiny little cars. I was hitting my arm just in the same spot every time I got into them. So I had a bruise the entire trip on my right arm, forearm, right here. Just big old bruise. Oh. The first time I didn't know what I did, and then the second time when it showed up, I was like, I remember doing that. No. All right, so I'm just kind of picking the spots where I'm seeing the blue peek through. I don't need to put this all over everything, the whole sky, because most of this is trees, and I don't need to waste the paint, going up over things that don't matter. But there is a little bit in the water, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of put that in sort of through here, this area right here where the sky is peeking through. You can see it right here, and then again down here there's some area that's too dark. Keep having to add white. I have not picked up that blue yet, and there was still so much in this brush. It just kept feeding, taking over. That's really, you probably, when you are doing this, if you're going to be doing a lot of a color, probably best to just mix it with a palette knife for that reason, because the brush is a kind of an imperfect science mixing on the brush, even though I do it all the time, just because I'm lazy. Oh, I better not get paint on this shirt. This is one of my good shirts. I forgot to put on one of my paint shirts. I know. Now I'm scared. All right. I'm scared. Let's go ahead and just block in some of the main areas here. I want to preserve this blue though, so I'm going to spray it really good. And let's go ahead and just mix up some different greens. I see very yellow greens over here, some kind of orangey greens here, and then blue greens, and then this area is just kind of a bright green, just sort of a plain neutral green or normal green. It's very close to phthalo green, but I'm going to use the unbleached titanium with it to try to tone it down, because phthalo green on its own is just super bright. And then maybe let's add a little bit of yellow oxide, which will kind of help tone it too, neutralize it. Your neutral colors here, the burnt umbers and burnt siennas and raw, you know, things, anything with like burnt or umber or raw or sienna in the title, ochre, oxide, those are all going to be neutralizing colors, and those are great to have on your palette. I always have at least one of them on there, if not more, because they're just, for me, they're the easiest way to neutralize my colors as I'm color mixing. I know a lot of people use gray also. That's another way to do it. You can use black and white in varying amounts, but I don't tend to use black a lot to mix. I usually only have it if I just want it like for eyes, for like animal eyes. I feel like it's the best. All right, I don't know why I'm talking about that. Let's go ahead. I'm just thinking and talking. Let's go ahead and mix up the rest of that phthalo green. Woo, if I can get it. Phthalo green, come on. Come on back over here, buddy. Right here. And then some phthalo blue. So we'll make a dark teal. And the color that I like to mix in with this to neutralize it is burnt sienna. Burnt sienna with phthalo blue and phthalo green makes a beautiful teal. Dark, dark, dark. And I've got a little bit of that light color in here, so it's kind of affecting it a little bit, but not too much. All right, so that'll be good for some of the darker areas, some of the teal colors, and I want to go even more blue than that in some areas, so I'm gonna scrape that up. Always scrape it up into a small area. This time I'm gonna clean off my knife, and let's get some ultramarine blue, and let's mix that with a little bit of the cadmium. No, let me think. Well, let's do the India yellow. Let's see what that does. Just a little bit of it. Okay, so that's nice. Kind of a dark forest green with a lot of blue in it. Really, this one didn't turn out to be teal at all. I added too much of the yellow, I think. So this one's more teal than that one is. Let me go ahead and get just phthalo blue and burnt sienna. That'll be much more teal. Okay. And the nice thing to do too, if you're doing this, is if you're mixing your own greens like this, is to have a little color diary. Keep a little sheet whenever I'm doing a painting. So right now we're working on this painting with my $15 tier on Patreon. Got a lot done on it. That's one of the photos that I took on our trip to England. This is St. Edward's Church in Stow-on-the-Wold. And every time I mixed a new color, I would mark it and mark the color mixture so that I know when I go back to paint it again, I'll have those color notes for myself so I can get close back to the same colors if I want to match anything. It's really helpful, and it's just a good practice to get into, because then when you have a notebook like this, you can just go back through and refer back to it. We were working on something like this with my Patreon group too, my $15 tier. Where did I do that? Oh, it's in that notebook over there. Can you get that out for me, hon? In this thing right here. Anyhow, we talked about color last month. This thing right here.
Holy moly.
Yes.
It's heavy.
Yep, thank you. And we had a little worksheet for them to fill out. Right here, a little color chart to fill out that had different colors. I don't know where mine is that got filled out. I haven't found it. Anyhow, it's in there somewhere, but I'm not going to look for it right now. But anyhow, yeah, it's a color chart.
I'm not doing anything over here.
Okay.
This one in the front?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's that one right there. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There we go. So you can see. And fill it out with your colors. So you could use something like this too. When you mix a color, you can have one of these type of like more formal notebooks. So anyhow. Oh my gosh.
That was a long way to get
I know, yeah.
but we got there.
Finally. I didn't have that prepared. I just started talking about it and then didn't realize how hard it was going to be to get to it. But anyhow, that's what we've been doing in my $5 tier on Patreon. We're working through beginner basics, and the month before last, we talked about acrylic paints and had them do some little homework with that. Okay. So I added a little bit of unbleached titanium to that Phthalo Blue and Phthalo Blue and burnt sienna mixture. This one is Ultramarine Blue and Yellow Oxide on that one. So I'm probably going to have more paint than I need because these areas are pretty small, but I feel like it's going to go faster if we just have some of these colors kind of pre-mixed. So the green gold is going to be pretty close to the color that I'm seeing here, but I might add a little bit more yellow, maybe just a little bit of this in the yellow. I haven't cleaned out this teal from my brush or from my palette knife, so it may go a little bit too green, but no, that's good. I think that's nice. Okay. Just a little bit off of the normal green gold color, a little bit more of that teal color mixed into it. So that'll be nice to have. And then we'll do kind of a reddish green. I'm going to get a lot of the India yellow with my green still on my knife, and I'm going to get some of the burnt orange here and see what happens when I mix those two and have that green gold mixture in my knife. So it's going to make a nice kind of that orange of the burnt orange is going to mix with the green, the red tones in that burnt orange, and the green tones are just opposite enough on the color wheel that they make kind of a muddied mixture. Really, this will be good. You want grays and neutral colors, especially if you want your brighter colors to pop. having muddy colors is not always a bad thing. You don't want muddy everywhere probably, but I mean sometimes that's just a design choice. But having these kind of neutral muddy-ish colors is actually really, really good because you can use them to help make your other colors shine.
Oh, you got your shirt in your chalk.
My shirt and my chalk?
Yeah, there's green chalk at the bottom of your shirt.
Well, that'll come off. This is a bad idea. I need to... I don't think I can change out my shirt during the show. I don't think it's not that kind of show.
We'll make shorts off camera.
Yeah, no.
You want me to take over painting for a while you go
Yeah,
change?
I think so. No, it's fine. I just can't reach over across my thing again. All right, so this has got my India Yellow, Yellow Oxide, and you better leave me some cake.
I'm leaving half of it.
Uh-huh.
I am.
I did.
I'm taking my last bite here. You're getting 2 layers, actually 3 layers of icing
Ooh,
left.
what? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so I got a little bit of tiny bit of the burnt orange there, a little bit of the Pyrrole orange, and then mostly into yellow and yellow oxide. So we're gonna just make kind of a, ooh, that's pretty, like a warm orangey color. That's really lovely. Okay, very good. That will do. All right, so I think that, and then we'll mix in some yellow tones. Maybe just have cadmium yellow light and an India yellow hue, and just mix it with what's left on my palette knife of this color. So just basically taking a little bit of this color and mixing some more yellow into it. So we started out with yellow. This really the only different color is the cadmium yellow light and more of the yellow hue. And don't worry if these aren't exactly the same colors. Really, the values are going to matter more than the actual colors. Really what you want to shoot for though is just a range from blue greens to yellow greens, and neutral greens in between, and then these warm colors. So I think we're good here. I think we'll have a good palette to work with this, and then we have our other colors that we can mix into these as we go. And I'm just scooping off the extra from my palette knife so I don't waste any of it, or not much at least. All right, I need to get a paper towel. Wet wipe, I mean. Get my hands clean. And we'll start painting. All right, so for these distant trees, I think I'm going to add a little bit of this blue from our sky and some of our light green, maybe a little bit of that mid-tone green, just for some of these that are in the far distance. I'm going to go ahead and continue to use this short filbert and just dab in, leaving a little pockets of blue showing here and there. Having that sky blue color mixed into it will help it kind of fade into the background a little bit. And I think I'm going to go maybe a little bit chunkier with the style of the trees instead of using my Deerfoot stippler. I was going to use that, but I think I might just go with a little chunkier style, kind of like what the reference photo did, the stylized photo. Here, just kind of using this brush and letting most of the paint off the brush, and once most of the paint is gone, then I can sort of dab in. Or if you have like a scruffy old brush that has some hair sticking out in funny places, then you can use something like that to to do this. I'm gonna get a little bit more of that blue and put it back in right here. Kind of lost my blue right there. Okay. I'm gonna use this color over here. A little bit more light blue or light blue in the sky right in that area. And then some of that kind of blue-green along the edges. The more fuzzy you make these distant trees, the more far away they will look. So generally, when we take a photograph, things are more in focus than our eyes would detect if you were just looking at the scene with the naked eye. Usually, you know, things in the distance are more blurred, less distinct, less saturated. And so when we're painting, it's good to kind of keep that in mind and sort of replicate that by blurring out some of these things that are in the very, very distant. And that way, it just helps make them look a little bit more realistic, a little bit more far away. And then we'll save our detail for this middle area here. All right, so just using this, I grabbed a little bit of that this darker teal with the ultramarine blue in it for back in here. Just add a little bit of it there, and then over here, I'm gonna get pretty dark. Go ahead and make it dark right there. And then let's go ahead and kind of put some of that dark in the water too. I'm going to get a little bit of purple. I didn't mix a purple with the green, but I do like to have a purpley green too, so I might get some more of that phthalo green. What is another color combination that I really like is phthalo green and Quinacridone Magenta. It makes kind of a dark teal or dark purpley, sometimes navy. Let me get that magenta and the phthalo green. Depending on how much of the green is in there, you get, look at how pretty that color is. Just kind of a really nice dark, almost black. Might get a little bit of the ultramarine blue too. Use some of that. Okay. And then seeing a little bit of that in the water here. Kind of right under where that bridge is and across, and then let's go ahead and kind of darken up where the water's edge is. And I'm just using that ultramarine blue that's on my brush for this. Maybe a little bit of the sky blue color that had a little bit of white mixed in. Sometimes, especially if we're going over this orange color with our blue, it can make it muddied. So having that white is kind of a barrier to the orange. It'll help that blue look more bright. Let's use it up here too, just even in our shadow area here. Just a little bit of brighter blue. Okay, and then let's get this teal color here, this Phthalo blue and phthalo green, or phthalo blue and, yeah, that was phthalo blue, phthalo green, and burnt sienna. Put that there. And there's a little bit more regular green. How's everybody doing? I feel like I'm just talking and nobody's got no questions or anything. What you doing over there?
They're doing good.
You
I'm
seem
trying
very
to-
busy. You're just,
Yeah, so I was trying not to disrupt you, but
what's going on?
I know this isn't Barton on the Water,
Uh-huh.
but what's the name of that place?
This was Lower Slaughter, I think.
Lower, oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, I was trying to find it in my pictures here.
Yeah, I think it was Lower Slaughter.
Yep. Good job.
Thanks.
I was like, oh yeah, that's Barton on the Water. No, wait a minute, it's not.
No.
I remember we stopped only there for about a half hour or so.
Yeah, not even that probably, because we just took pictures of the church and
In this.
and left. Because we had other places we were trying to get to that day, and then we never did go back. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the day we went to the Broadway Tower and all that stuff, so
Yeah, it rained on us.
it's okay.
No,
We
it was
had
good.
fun.
We did. It was good. It was cold, which was nice. Coming from Arkansas, where it was hot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, getting the burnt orange here, and just that's what I've been doing here while I've been talking to Mark. I'm not telling you what I'm doing. Sorry. Just trying to kind of add some different colors. Let's get this kind of orangey color. Add some of that. Put it in the bush that's right here. The colors are getting kind of muddy, but this layer is kind of our under layer, so everything is going to be kind of a little bit darker. I generally want to go like a little bit darker with acrylics. Let things have a good dark under layer so that when you put your brighter colors on top, they pop. Get some green here, some of the mid-tone green, maybe a little bit of blue. Put it right along here. All the way down, and then what is back there? That's kind of it's kind of this grayish color. It's kind of greenish, beigey. And there's like a house right there, so I'll leave that background color. Just kind of fill in the rest of this with, maybe get a little bit of burnt sienna here. Maybe get a little bit darker.
I have a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to mix India Yellow Hue?
Yeah, India yellow. If you've got like an orange, or you can get something similar with like a cadmium yellow light and just a tiny touch of an orange or even a magenta if you had to, or red. It's just kind of a warm yellow, so here I'll use it on here. Get a little bit of white. You can see it's just got a little bit of a yellow tone to it. But it's nice because I like to use two primaries, you know, like a warm and a cool of each color, and so it's a nice warm yellow to use for mixing. But another alternative could be like a Nicolazzo yellow or a cadmium yellow medium or deep. Um, um, there's like hands of yellows that are, you know, hands of yellow like deep or medium. Medium's not that different from cadmium yellow light, so I tend to like to go a little bit more towards an orange with my, you know, using the India yellow, but just mixing up some of this orangey color that we mixed, and maybe get some of this green and mix those two together. Mix that in.
So how are you doing tonight?
Good.
Good? Yeah.
Yeah, happy to be painting again. Missed it. Happy to be painting with my acrylics. Although I did enjoy working with watercolor, I just, like, most of the time I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I still, you know, even though I did it for almost a whole month exclusively, I still feel like I'm not much further along in understanding them. I do like some of the art that I made with watercolors, but definitely glad to be back painting with you guys with acrylics.
Back in your comfort zone.
Yes, definitely. Well, I just realized how much I take that for granted, that feeling of, you know, even if I mess something up, quote unquote, you know, I know how to fix it. And with watercolors, I'm like kind of at a loss. I wasn't really sure when to stop and let things dry and when to do another layer before it dried and that kind of thing. Like I still am not kind of really sure how to manipulate them the way I wanted them to go. So I'm just kind of working in other colors while this is wet, trying to kind of keep it fairly light. It's not super dark up in here, but then I'll kind of come in here and just dab in some of these darker green bits here and there. And I think this is how I'm going to do this tree. I don't think I'm going to do a ton of actual leafy detail on it. I think I'm going to leave it kind of a little bit loose. So maybe a little bit different than my normal style. Let's put in a little bit of this over here. I'm going to get some of that green that was in that tree originally and put that in with it. And anytime you're introducing another color, and if it seems like really jarring, just add a little bit of that color that was the original color, and then, you know, they'll kind of merge visually a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Let's use this color over here. So this is that sky color, that blue with my orange. But that's a nice, see how gray that is? That's going to be really nice underneath. And then when we put our brighter colors on top, it's going to really pop. One of the things that I loved in England was the trees were so big and like so varied. Like I don't feel like we have the variety of trees here in the U.S. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I feel like at least like when I go out, you know, in cities, we see Bradford pears, oak trees, you know, maple trees a lot, pine trees. But here there was just like this, like you can see from this, there's just like so many different kinds of trees here. It was just really neat. And maybe it's just because they were different kinds of trees than we see here that I was like really noticing them, but they seemed...
Yeah, that's probably more likely.
Yeah,
but
probably.
It was good to see a different variety for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. All right, getting some of this more lemon, or more like bright, vivid green here. I'm going to use that over here, just a little bit. And then let's go ahead and use maybe some of this teal color green, just to fill in the walkway green, or the little green that was along this little path here. And leave a little bit of that orange showing through here and there. There was these like little leaves in there that are kind of showing up orange in the picture. And then just a little strip of that curb. And then there's a little bit more green between the water and the curb. Maybe get a little bit of that more neutral green for up in here. I feel like that line needs to be a little straighter, so I'm going to kind of cut that off right there. Making sure I've got green in my water. Let me get some yellow here. Add it to this bright green here. There's a lot of kind of that yellow tree there, kind of reflecting in the water through here.
Very scrubby.
Yeah, it really is kind of scrubby. Let's go ahead and use some of this brightish green in the water here. I really need to remember to, when I use it on the bank, to use it in the water too. And I think I'll switch to a little bit smaller brush here in a minute, just to get a little bit more control. Let's go ahead and use some of this Cobalt Teal. I didn't use any of that yet. Go ahead and use it on this brush here, and just dab it on in a way that leaves some of that dark showing. So just using the tip and kind of pouncing almost, so that it leaves. Ooh, got some yellow there. Brush is not clean. All right. And then this is in the water right here. Get some of that darker turquoisey color. Some of the ultramarine blue here, and kind of picking where this is and putting that in the water. Okay, we're starting to come together now. You can see it's kind of like it hits this critical mass, and it's like after a while, once you kind of get, you just keep adding layers and layers, then after a while it just sort of starts to come together. You're like, okay, I can see it now. But it starts out looking like a hot mess, and it stays that way for a while, so you kind of have to be pretty just eyes on the prize as you're painting and not question too much. You know, you got to lay down these weird layers in order for the prettier upper layers to work. So just gonna have to trust the process and trust that we'll get you there. I'm gonna get some unbleached, or I've got burnt sienna on my brush. And I'm getting some purple and Quinacridone Magenta here. I'm going to use some of that here. Use some reds. Kind of purples. Kind of squishing my brush side to side to get those little squigglies, the little watery marks. Keeping them pretty. Kind of following the edge of the water here, not quite horizontal. I guess they're kind of following the flow of the river. Got a stream which is sort of going this way, the diagonal. So that makes sense. Okay. Let's go ahead and put some of this reddish color in some of these trees in here. Too. I'm going to put some yellow, even though it's not in my picture. I feel like there would be some yellow from this tree here. All right. And then let's just go ahead and put some of this color up in here. And all kind of up and underneath where this red tree is coming over the top. Sort of underneath the main areas. Don't cover all of it because I want some of the sunlight. I'm going to do individual leaves in some places, but wherever you're seeing like a mass of a clump of leaves that is blocking out the sun entirely, you can kind of fill it in. But I think just gonna dab here and there. And I want to finish this tree behind a little bit more before I fully commit to this color, but I'm just sort of trying to start it. And some of these will come down in front. Okay. Looking good. Let's go ahead and finish this path here. So I'm going to use the yellow oxide and my burnt sienna, or I'm sorry, burnt orange or burnt sienna, really, either one. And then get some unbleached titanium and just kind of go side to side. This background color is pretty close to where I want it to be anyways, but I do want some variation here. So just sort of scraping side to side here. And then let's get a little bit burnt sienna, or burnt umber, I mean. Mix that in. Maybe darken it up right along the grass line. I'm being pretty messy right now. Let's deal with my hair. Big ol' hair. Okay. Just kind of smushing that into that wet paint. Trying to get some burnt umber. And then I'm going to get some ultramarine blue. I haven't cleaned out my brush. A little bit of white. So it's got that burnt umber in there. It's going to kind of neutralize it a little bit. Let's to use that sort of right in the halfway mark here, where it's kind of in shadow on that path. Okay. Just kind of messing up that pathway just to give it a little bit more interest. Okay, that looks good enough. And let's go ahead and use this lighter color here, Unbleached Titanium, mixed with that burnt orange and yellow oxide, and I'm just going to kind of go across and give a little structure to that house that's back there. I think there's a house back here too, but it's so covered up you don't really see it. But there's kind of like a retaining wall underneath the fence there, so I'm going to just put kind of a light something and let it fade out. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and put some of this color back there just because I'm seeing it. Doesn't have to be defined. And then we'll put our trees and things in front of it. So let's get our... I said I was going to change my brush, but I still haven't yet. So just keeping on going here. Let's just keep going until we decide we can't work with this one anymore. I'm going to get some of this green gold mixture that we did. And I'm going to spray my paints every now and then to make sure that they're still wet. How's everybody doing? You're just being super quiet over there. It's making me nervous.
No.
Everything's good?
Everything's good. We're talking about Thanksgiving foods right now.
Okay.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
My favorite Thanksgiving food is the stuffing, I think. Which sometimes some people call dressing, which I don't understand. But
Well,
I guess
dressing
dressing is it
is
if
made
it's
in
not.
a separate pan.
Got it.
Yep. Stuffing is, well,
Right.
stuffed.
Stuffed. We don't stuff our birds anymore. We just do dressings, I guess. So dressing. I'll change my answer. I like dressing. I like dressing and mashed potatoes. Can I have both? Can I have two answers?
Of course.
That's the winning combo. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit dark, so I'm gonna get the kind of, I don't even remember anymore what color we mixed to get this color, but this kind of grayish color, green, gray, green. And I'm just gonna kind of pull down as I'm dabbing it on so that I'm getting kind of weeping willow vibes here. A lot of weeping willows out in this area. It was just so pretty. Those are one of my favorite trees. Ours died. Couldn't get it to survive out.
I didn't mow it down, did I? No.
No.
Okay, good.
We had a kind of a variety though. We had like a curly willow, so it grew with a spirally trunk. It was really pretty. I got a lot of branches from it. Then I think you threw them out. The branches. You wouldn't let me keep them. I like to collect the. I have a lot of. I like to collect.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that. But also like when we cut down trees, I like to collect their wood. Dead bodies of trees. I'm a tree taxidermist. Like to decorate with them. Just like birch logs and things and
Yeah, we had
sticks.
a river birch that was starting to hit the house, so we cut it down.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to save it since it's got that peely white bark, and
It was cool.
that was the thing there for a while.
Yeah.
Just to have that sitting in your house,
Yep.
just to look at,
Right.
collect dust.
Yep.
But it looked cool.
It's cool. All right, so yeah. All right, I just added some of this green in there, and then I added some of this, which was this color. I think it was the green gold plus white. That's all that was right there. So just green gold plus white and mixture. So basically, when you're doing these trees, though, it's just good to have like at least 3 different values ish. You know, like they don't have to be super distinct values. So like this one they're all pretty close in value, but having a dark middle and light just gives a little bit more form to your trees, or anything really. And I'm keeping the light colors sort of towards the top, and I still haven't put in my tree trunks, which I still need to do, so that'll help form them a little bit better too. But I'm just going to try to add some highlights here to these trees that I've already kind of done. And I might do, let me see what it does if I use a angle brush. Did I use this one at all? I don't think I did.
I'm not sure.
It looks wet. I was just trying to remember. Oh, I think I used it for this guy. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't dry out before I wash it. Let me think. Yeah, so let's try this one. This is the Angle Bright 4. So it's about like a 3/8 inch angle brush, something thereabouts. But actually, let's go ahead and put in our tree trunks first. Let's do that. And then there are only a couple of them that we're really seeing, but that'll help, I think, for this next part. So, what color do we want to do? Let's do like burnt sienna and purple. Maybe a little bit of burnt umber. All right, so we've got one right here, and I've switched to a 4 round here. And make sure you've added enough water to make the paint flow off your brush easily. I'm gonna just start here and get it more narrow as it goes up, and then these kind of just disappear up and into the trees. And I'm going to get a little bit of the lighter color for these ones back here, because you can't really see much of them. And then there's some coming across here. Go ahead and sort of put them up here like as if they're going to be the full tree. And then we'll cover some of that up. And then this side over here, they're even more kind of pink, but there is some dark. Let me get a little bit of ultramarine blue and that purple. Ultramarine, burnt sienna, and purple. Kind of comes from this bush right here and comes over and goes all the way out this way. That's a little bit thick. Oops. I'm gonna wipe this one off while it's still wet because I got it too thick. Keep it a little bit more narrow. All right. And then maybe more red here. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of do them as if they're visible, and then if some of it shows, it'll be fine. That way they won't look like they're misshapen or undeveloped. All right, something like that. And then we'll come back in and add some highlights and things to them once they dry. They'll be okay. We'll just let that dry. All right, so let's get this brush here, and I'm going to get some of this light green here, and get some white, maybe a little bit of this yellowy green, and I'm just going to add some highlights over here. Get some of the mid-tone green and add that as a buffer between that dark and the light. Okay. And then right up at the base of this tree. This is good because it's got kind of a little bit of everything on here. We've got a little bit of all these colors on here. So I'm getting more than one color. Pulling a little bit to the side there. And then I just want to see where else I have that color, that light green. And I'm seeing it kind of along this riverbank here. So right up underneath that line that I did, there's going to be sort of an area right here that sort of comes down. So I'm just going to kind of mark that out. And then get some magenta and burnt orange. Maybe a little bit of my unbleached titanium so it's not so bright. I'm just going to come up above it and mark between the walkway and that line, and then I want to pull down a little bit just to define that bank there. Okay, and then there's a little bit of a reflection in the water that comes down too. Okay. Something in there. I can't really tell what it is because the photo is very blurry, so that's probably for the best because otherwise I would get too focused on details. So let's go ahead and just keep it kind of loose. So then the walkway kind of ends right here. That green comes down and then it sort of goes this way. And this one splits off this way. And there's a little path leading to the bridge right here. So let's go ahead and use this color and we'll just kind of mark in this bridge. So it goes from this side. The angle is just slightly raised. It's not very high. It goes from here over. Sort of like that. You get some unbleached titanium and just tap that along the top edge. Okay, and then there's two supporting pillars that come down. So one kind of right in here and one sort of right in here. All right, and then they hit the water and they kind of, the reflection continues. So I'm just going to kind of wipe some of it out and dry brush into the water. And then there's a dark shadow from the underside of the bridge. Right there, I'm going to get a little bit more of that ultramarine blue. Maybe some purple. Actually, just use the purple. Which we already have kind of a dark blue there, but I want to make it a little bit more clean. So the side of the pillars. Let's mark the water's edge there and there. And then the bridge, let me go ahead and tap just underneath. There's not much of this showing, but there is a little bit of a dark underneath there too. Okay. And then getting that lighter color again and going above just a little bit right there. Okay, so now I need to deal with my water because my water reflection is not quite right. So I'm going to get the green and just pull that down. There we go. And then yeah. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Gonna get a little bit of unbleached titanium and right at the water line, kind of highlight that, wipe that off, come up underneath that watermark and kind of go over it a little bit and pull down just to fuzz it out a little bit. It was too dark. Okay, there is some sort of it looks like a gate or something right here, or a ladder. Or
It was
I'm
like
not
a
really sure.
it was like a ramp going up onto
Like a ramp, yeah.
So they had it bent up to keep people from walking on
Maybe,
it.
yeah.
I remember it.
Okay, I don't know what I did there. Got like a big glob of paint stuck to my brush. It was dried paint. Okay, so. And these go this way. Okay, just kind of marking that out just a little bit. Okay, so trying to keep it fairly loose. This goes on top of that dark right there, that highlight. So the reflection of the bridge there cuts over through the reflection of the dark of that bridge. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of make a little bit of a a little bit of a water line here just to help our eyes. It just will help, you know, kind of make sense of it. If there's a little cut right there where that bridge sets on, I think we're pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to use this light color to highlight along the edge here. Get a little bit of this green, kind of a lightish green. Come up below. Yeah, this is definitely more impressionist than I normally do.
But I like it.
I do
It's
too, and
looking really cool.
It's good. It's an interesting style, and it lends itself to these colors and things. So I'm trying to kind of go with it. Just using the edge of the brush to do some like grassy like marks here. With that sort of blue color here. I'm not exactly sure what I did. I was thinking, not speaking, sorry. I think I used some of this and added it to this blue maybe. Or no, I think I grabbed some of that with the white and the green. I don't know. Look back on the tape. It'll show you.
Roll back the tape.
Roll back the tape.
We're that old.
Yeah, I was there, but I don't remember it. It just happened, and I still can't tell you what I did. Okay, I'm getting some yellow here, and some of that white. I still had that yellow, or that same color, this tealish blue here, just using it in there and in the water. I think I might want to make a little bit more of the light green there, and I'm going to use it up in this tree right here, which is where, it would be in this scene. Okay. All right, I think that's good. I like how that looks. Feels good. Let's go ahead and kind of finish the Weeping Willow here. I'm going to get some of this green here. I think I made just enough of these greens, honestly. I thought it was going to be too much, but it's turning out to be just right. So I'm going to kind of go over some of these tree trunks and things. Yeah, this brush makes it easier to do those kind of flat-bladed marks. Getting some of the yellow and white here. And I'm going to kind of pick out some spots and strategically cover some of the tree trunk with lighter colors so that it kind of masks them a little bit. Not too much because it'll take over. And let's go ahead and do some different color up here. Maybe get some of this green. Okay. Like so, maybe these trees coming from the side are different kinds. Okay, I'm almost off camera here. Getting some of that other yellow here. Okay, so I'm in trouble of getting this all too much the same color here, or same value, losing my darks, so I need to be careful about that. Pull back a little bit. And I think I'm going to just leave that as is. All right, let's put some of this color over here. See some over here. Just kind of low. And then there's a little bit peeking in back here between these bushes. Okay. And then right up on top of this, and then it goes pretty orange and red. So let's get that orange color, which we already have in here. Maybe get that yellow, mix that in. Need to remember I should be using these in the water. And in the water, I need to also be kind of doing them side to side a little bit, squiggly. So they're not as defined. Get some reddish. Magenta and Pyrrole orange here with my yellow. That looks really weird, doesn't it? I think it needs more dark. So we get the dark red. Like in the picture it looks great, but on here it just looks weird. Right, trying to get it there. So I think what will help is having a little bit more integrated, like it's like too separated right now. So I'm going to get some of the yellow and put it down where the red is and just kind of break it up a little bit. Okay, that's better. Okay, let's leave that for now because it's bothering me and I don't know how to fix it. So that's when mistakes are made, when you get, you know, when you get like frustrated and you're like, I don't know how to fix this, it looks terrible, and then that's when you start doing weird stuff that doesn't make sense. Just wait till you kind of have an idea of what to do. All right, so that's amazing. I already put highlights on this, but it doesn't look at all like I did. I'm like, right, getting some of the kind of greenish, darkish green. I'm going to use the brush to sort of make some blades and mid-tones down lower on these bushes. Let's go ahead and put kind of the hint of a door in this building here. Get some white and some unbleached titanium and just sort of hint at a door there. And then there's some windows for sure. Get some of that dark color. Just boop, boop, boop. some more leaves and things on top of that, but gonna bring this up a little bit over there. And then let's kind of mark out that walkway there a little bit. Get some of the magenta and pyrrole orange. Gonna make some marks in my water here with that. I need to start finishing this because I'm getting close to end.
I'm glad that you're doing these because it's a good way to remember our trip.
Yeah, I
Another
know.
layer.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
it is. We got to see some really neat stuff. We had not gone on a trip like that in a very, very long time, so it was very good for the soul. Getting some burnt sienna here and just kind of darkening up some of the areas on the bridge here. There we go. And I'm going to get some burnt umber and just kind of walk it along my green area on both sides a little bit. And then get my light green and just kind of set my brush down and flick it upward to get this kind of grassy, very small choppy brush strokes. And the farther away I get, the less grass-like it'll be, the more just kind of tapping it'll be. That's too much there. Okay.
Oops. I got a good question.
Okay.
So they want to know, when you paint for yourself, do you narrate?
Do I narrate? I do. Mark can attest to that because I have a video of myself in York. And I'm like, what am I saying? I didn't even know I was doing it because on the video it's like, oh no, it's over there a little bit more to the right. Then I didn't do that tower right. Okay, so I need to fix it and I need to put it right. Like the whole thing is like that. I'm just like talking to myself. Like, okay, I definitely narrate my life almost all the time anymore. It's really weird.
Sometimes it's difficult for me to know when she's talking to
I
me
know.
or to herself.
Yeah.
I always love it when she's so very polite to herself and says thank you. So that's always the best part.
I think my brain for remembering things.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, good. All right, thanks.
Thanks. Yep. Okay. Yes, that's it. Thank you. True story. Yeah. Nope, I didn't know I did that, but it doesn't surprise me with as much as, it's like 10, well, longer than that now. I don't know how many years I've been doing YouTube videos. just so many years of doing these videos, talking through my thought processes. I just do it all the time, just about anymore. Without even thinking about it. Nobody even listening.
What?
Just me and the dog. Yeah, Mark. What? That's about it. Going a little bit dark here. So, you can find yourself kind of getting lost in the details. Like I'm kind of trying to get this pathway to look right. Realizing that there's not a lot of detail in it, so I just need to kind of tap. But I don't want it to be too, like in the picture, it's all kind of one color. So I'm trying to add a little bit of variance to it so that it's not so same all the way up. So that's why I'm kind of changing it up here and adding darker bits, because I feel like it needs the variety of values. Otherwise it's just going to look flat, or like a flat strip of green all the way through. So that looks a little bit better to me, just a little bit more varied. And I need to kind of finish my water before I do all these plants that are kind of hanging over, but I'm going to sort of do a little bit of it on this side here. Just kind of lose the path there. This grass and things come up over it in a couple places, so that looks good, I think. And I can kind of add a few little flicks of brighter grass with kind of a yellowy color. Just a few little, right in the kind of lower bit here, and that's all we need. And then I'll add these leaves. There's these leaves kind of up over the water here. Cluster. Yeah, that looks good. And then kind of just do some leafy bits over the edge. And I think that's pretty good. There's a little bit down here, just a few little leaves. And just make sure that they kind of connect back to the shore so they don't look like they're part of the water. We want it to be part of these shoreline leaves. Looks good. All right. We're getting close. I think just kind of messing up the water a little bit will help. Going in here now and taking some of the blue from our sky, the Phthalo blue and ultramarine, and I'm just going to kind of glaze in my butter. Got glaze all over it. And my table. Set my water bottle down on my glaze. So glaze and that ultramarine blue, which you could use zinc white if you have it too. I'll wipe most of that out. That's a little too much. Let's try that again. Wipe most of it out. There we go. I want it very subtle. Just kind of a dusting of color. There we go. So we're just kind of adding highlights, or like ripples in our water here. And I want to go from this is the light, the sky part over any of my color. So this will help kind of blend it out. Might get a little bit of white even. Gonna use some white. It's not like a roaring river rapid, you know, so it's kind of a gentle little side to side thing. It's not like really obvious, but this can help kind of cloud off some of the color. Like, it's not going to be everywhere, but yeah, okay. Kind of helping to sort of make it a little bit more swishy. And then I'm going to get some unbleached titanium, a little bit of the yellow oxide, maybe some white. Just like a light yellow, and find my bank. So figure out where it is and just start tapping along that. But kind of keep the angle sort of with this. And I don't want a straight line, so I'm just wanting to kind of every now and then tap in there to, this is that ladder here. Yeah, I'm going to tap along the top of my bridge here again. And down here there's still some, keep them very small back here. And there's something there. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and kind of tap in our building here, give it some like little bricks or something. And I don't love that billet bush still, but I'm not really sure what to do with it, so I'm just gonna kind of leave it. Sometimes things like that are just in the moment. They look weird, but you know, when you look at them later, they don't look so bad. So that's one of those things that I've learned, you know. I'm getting the purple and Quin Magenta and burnt orange here. I'm just going to go above my highlight line there on my bank of the water and just make sure I have a nice dark line. Okay. There's some dark areas back here that I didn't do. But I usually will go back through and like do, you know, do corrections and things to a painting after the fact. But when I do them live like this with you guys, I can't do that, you know, so I try to catch all the things. But, you know, sometimes there's just things that you just don't see because you are in the moment and you get so tunnel vision. It's hard to see the whole thing or see the changes that still need to be made or whatever. That's why critique is so nice, because sometimes you just get so stuck in the way you're seeing things that you can't see it differently. Adding ultramarine blue and added just a tiniest bit of white here. And I'm going to put the under layers for this tree. So just tapping in and pulling down a little bit. So, you know, it can be helpful to look at your painting again, you know, in a couple of days, or just take a small break from it, walk away, do something else, and come back to it. Even sometimes just a few hours or minutes break away can give you fresh eyes, and you'll see things. Mark laughs at me for saying fresh eyes, but it's
No, I laugh about letting your eyes breathe.
let your eyes breathe.
Hey, since we're on the subject,
Yes.
not really, So this video will be available on YouTube for free
Yeah.
shortly after we're done.
Yeah.
Traceables.
Traceables are available on Patreon. You can go to my website and you can see the link there. That's probably the easiest way to do it. It's thankfulart.com. I'm using this teal here just to add little bits of reflection. Yeah, thankfulart.com, and I've got you can go to the tutorials page and you can see all of the literally hundreds, over 1,000 videos that I have available. Some are free, most of them are free. I think there's over 800 videos here on YouTube that are free. And then most of those will have traceables that are available for $5 a month for unlimited downloads. So you could sign up, pay $5, download as many as you want, and then cancel. Like you don't, I mean, you get it for a month no matter what. But
Or you can continue
supporting us and
My Chocolate Habit.
Exactly, and get participate in our ongoing beginner series that we just started. We're going to be doing live streams for it, so, and there'll be homeworks, and it's go at your own pace though, so it's not like you didn't do your homework, like nobody's going to check who, this is just your own. Somebody canceled because they were like, oh, I can't keep up with the homework. I'm like, well, I'm not
Right.
checking. Nobody's checking. It doesn't matter, like you just do what you can do, so, yeah.
Okay,
it's
so
not-
currently for the $5 level here in October of 2024, they get the traceables.
Right,
They get access to past bonus videos still.
right. There's several,
Okay.
about 70 bonus videos, I
Right.
think.
And then also to the
White
beginner
and
series.
yellow here.
The
Yeah.
beginner series that started in September.
Yes,
And then when there's a live stream for that, there'll be a link sent out
yes.
to them. Okay.
Right.
For that. And then the $15 level gets all that.
Plus, they get a weekly live stream where we work on something all month long
For challenge image.
for challenge image. And the challenge image this month is that
that you showed earlier.
right that I
Okay.
showed earlier with the tree, and then we'll probably finish that this week, and then we'll start a new one. So we're just always working on something, and usually they're about a month to 2 month long projects where we work on them for 4 to 8 weeks. Sometimes they go a little bit longer than that if it's a really complicated painting, but that's a really fun group. I like that group because it's much more intimate. Like they're smaller groups. They all know each other. We all chat. I'm by myself with the chat, so Mark is not with me, but
And they also get access to another Facebook group
right.
that they can post anything they want to, get comments,
Get critiques.
feedback, and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's much more hands-on than any of my other groups.
And the Patreon subscriptions is for a month from the day you sign up. So if you
Right.
signed up today, which happens just to be the first,
Yeah.
then it'll go through November 1st, right?
Right.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not, it used to be a calendar month, but now it's just a month from the time you sign
Right.
up. So sign up anytime.
Yeah. And it's now that we've been doing it since 2017, there's dozens and dozens of challenge videos from years past. So, if you don't like the one I'm doing this month, you can watch the replay of the older ones. And again, if you go to my website, you can see those. They're called challenge videos for the $15 level and bonus videos for the $5 level. So
Right. And
it's like a Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
So it, it gives you access while you're a member. And
that's awesome.
you don't download them or anything like that.
And the other great thing about your Thankful Art website there is that you can go in and search videos, and you can do a search for like Thanksgiving or for Halloween. And it's
Right.
going to pull up all the videos that you have for that
Right.
content or
Right.
Christmas, because I know it's
Right.
that time of the year right now. They can hit it up. They don't have to wait for the new ones that you'll be
Right.
working on here in the
Oh,
coming
yeah,
weeks.
there's dozens and dozens.
There's already content there, so go
Yeah.
check it out.
Yep. All right, so putting in this blue tree here, just kind of setting my brush down here. I'm going to use this, I think I'm using the teal that has the phthalo blue in it. I'm going over the top of the purple and just kind of leaving a little bit of the purple showing underneath. So I want to do, the purple will be our dark layer. This will be our lighter or mid-tone layer. And I went through and kind of dry brushed some unbleached titanium over my tree branches here too. I love that tree. That is really pretty right there in the middle, isn't it? Really nice. And I'm going to make sure I have this color in my water too. Get some of the darker color for, there's some shadow areas here. And let's go ahead and use this in the bushes here. A little bit by my water. The key to your light colors popping is to have the dark colors. So if you have the dark colors up underneath or next to them, those light colors look brighter. Just the way it works. So if your light color is just like fading and it doesn't look like anything, then try adding a little bit of dark color around it or behind it, and it'll help. All right, we're making good time here. Almost done. Using a little bit of the light green here to separate out that bush there. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like
Coming out good.
I like that you've taken this little sideways of doing paintings and this, less realistic.
Right.
I mean, I know that you're doing the realistic stuff in your Patreon groups.
Right.
And then here is just a great place to do some experimenting, some fun.
Well, and I think that these are a little bit more accessible for beginners too, and that's why I like doing this style on YouTube, because it tends to be the videos that people actually paint along with, or a lot of times are the beginner type ones. Here I'm just going back in with a little bit of lighter blue color with a little bit of white added. And make sure you're crossing over your branches. Don't just go around your branches. You want to make sure they're set in there. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and do our red leaves coming down over the top of everything, and I think we'll be done. I'm pretty happy with my water at this point. I think we got it looking sort of like a stream. I think I need to get a little bit of this kind of mist out on the reddish on this side, so I'm going to get some color and just going to put it in my water on this side. Try to add a little bit, and I want the Quinacridone Magenta and Pyrrole Orange make a really bright red, but our tree's not that bright, so I'm going to get a little bit of purple to add to it. That'll help tone it down. I'll use the actually almost straight purple for some of the leaves, and I'm just going to set my brush point down and tap, and this will give me leaves. Just tap, tap, tap. I really like the angle brush for leaves. It's one of my favorite brushes to use for leaves. I'm going to even get a little bit of blue, I think. Do some of them in blue. And try to modulate your modulate the word? I don't know. Try to make sure that you're pressing down the same hardness so that your leaves stay about the same size. Because if you vary it too much, you may end up with a big old blob where you don't intend for it to be. So just kind of tap, tap. And I'm holding it all the way on the back, and you can see, tap as far back as I can. And if I want a little, like a little point to it, I can flick it a little bit. You can see how it kind of makes a point there. Or if I just want a round dot, I can just tap it straight down and lift. So just each time I load my brush, getting a little bit different color. So a little bit more magenta here, maybe get a little bit of the orange. Okay. Get some cadmium or some of the yellow oxide. I've lost my words now. It's hopeless. I'm in right brain too far down. Interesting phenomenon how that works. But your brain, I've talked about this before, but your brain has two sides, left and right side, and the left side kind of controls your speech and words. And the right side is, spatial awareness, color, creativity and imaging, imagining, things like that. And so when you're creating and I am thinking about when I'm kind of really in the art process and I'm really fully immersed, and part of that is imagining what I want to do next and, trying to formulate a plan for how to proceed with my painting. It basically blocks that left side of my brain completely. And I will come up with the weirdest words for things sometimes. It's like they're there, but they're a little different. They're not quite right. Like leafy bits instead of branches, or I don't know. They're not
My favorite.
Yeah, armholes.
Armholes.
For sleeves, yeah.
Yes.
Just kind of varying these colors, just adding the yellows and oranges together to get different shades. I've got this light yellow behind it, so the light orangey colors that are in that tree are not quite showing up, so I might go a little bit brighter with my orange just so it shows up a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yep, so sometimes when I get these tutorials going and I'm right in the middle, it just makes it really hard because I can't communicate anymore. My brain shuts off.
What you looking
I thought I heard Fitzy growling.
at? Is it?
Huh?
Oh, you might be growling out there.
Out there?
There's a dog barking
Yeah, I can
outside.
hear the dog barking. I thought he was in here, maybe. We've had a very clingy pup. He missed us. Oh, we're gone. It's been fun. You've been very sweet. Okay. I don't know. At some point, I kind of have to call it quits here. It's been a fun one. I don't think I like that blue, so I don't think I would do the blue again. I think I would just stick to the purple. I think I like the purple and magenta better than the blue. Bring this one down a little bit more. And I can also come in here with my purple. And there are some branches. They're not super visible, but there are a few little branches, so that will help kind of separate out things, maybe. And you can even use this round brush to add more individual leaves if you find it more, easy to use. The round brush does a good job too. Just kind of plop it down at a slight angle, and you get basically the same kind of leaves as what we were getting with the angle brush. I'm going to do just a few really bright leaves with my orange and okay, I cannot get a bright color. Clean out my brush. It was just too full of the other colors. Okay, let me see if I can get a bright orange. Yeah, just a few. I'm kind of losing all of my see-through bits, like kind of crowded it a little bit now. Getting some yellow here. Adding some yellow from the tree underneath to open up some holes there. There we go. All right. I feel like some just kind of pretty bright red over here with that magenta. Okay, and then let's make sure that we have some of this color in the water. So we already have most of our water in here, but it's helpful to bring any new colors down into our water. So anything else?
No, just got a question about the challenge videos.
All right.
If the person can't watch live,
Yes.
can they leave comments in the playbacks? Because, if they have a question or something, or how would they ask questions?
They would ask questions in the chat. I have a chat on Patreon.
Okay.
Or in the Facebook group. So either one of those two places. The videos are live streamed on YouTube, and then they're put on my website, and the website doesn't have the chat. Although I think there might be comments, but it's not something that I monitor frequently, so I'm honestly not sure how that works.
But there's a chat area.
There's a chat area on the Patreon.
Okay.
website, and then also, obviously Facebook in the group. That's what that group is mainly for, is just to kind of interact and ask questions and get more in-depth answers and things, because I can reply with photos and things, and you can post photos with questions, or you can take screen grabs and, or post your work in progress, and I can help, like sometimes I'll take my tablet out and draw over, to
Sketch up and show them.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So just a nice way to interact. Oh, I forgot this little bit right here, so I'm gonna just take some of this green here, maybe some of this yellow, and just dab over the top of this. Close that off. Okay. Get a little bit of the darker color. Maybe a little bit of burnt sienna with that green. There we go. It was just looking a little too pale. And then I might go back in with my blue and put that back over. And maybe a little bit of the green on this tree, or this bush right here. Highlighted. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, kind of fun. I think it works. Like how it turned out. Nice. Some of it's a little bit rough. I probably could go another half an hour on it, but I won't, because we don't have time for that tonight. But super chat.
Do you have time for super chat?
I do have time for super chat. I'll sign it while you guys are doing that.
Well, it's from our friend Rose.
Oh, thank you, Rose.
The Shiba dog is writing with a brush.
Number 1 on a piece of paper. I like it.
Go.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rose.
I like how it describes the emojis.
That's awesome. Rose is one of our $15 patrons, Sue's.
What?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that support also.
Very sweet.
Amazing.
Yep. She's in our Facebook group.
She's not the $1 million level?
No, she's
Okay,
not going to come mow your lawn. Or
No, I'm not going to go mow her lawn.
Mow her lawn.
No.
That's right. Okay, sorry.
For $1 million, you can come mow my yard. Maybe that's why I don't have anybody signed up. I have got it backwards.
You got it backwards. I was confused. So
for a chance to mow my yard.
What this might need is some flowers. No, I'm
More
joking.
Flowers. A tank.
Or you could probably do a little bit more detail with the with this, and bring some of the stuff over it. But I think it's good for now. I'm happy with it. You don't want detail everywhere, so right now it definitely draws you to this little spot right here, and that's where I wanted the attention anyway. So this doesn't have to, it doesn't have to have detail everywhere. So there's not a lot of detail here or here, but this area's got a good amount of detail, which is kind of where our focal point should be anyways.
Cool.
So, all right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Rose. That was really sweet.
Yeah, let me say the newsletter has gone out with the October painting
schedule.
So go to thankfulart.com, sign up for the newsletter. You can get all that. Go over to Angela's YouTube channel and hit remind me on all those videos that are already posted on
You
there.
just hit the little bell icon.
Notify me.
It'll send you an email every time we post a new video. And we'll be posting the schedule if you missed out on the newsletter. This week, we'll be posting that schedule all over social media. So you'll see it on Instagram and Facebook. And all those links are down in the description, as well as my links to Amazon, the brush guys, where you can buy brushes. I've got and also Blick.com. Blick has Blick is where I usually buy my art supplies. Amazon is kind of hit or miss. Sometimes their prices are good, sometimes not the same, you know. So I tend to buy most of my stuff from Blick because it's cheaper, but I know that's not in all countries. So, but if you at least want to see what I recommend and the brands and things that I use, you can go to my list on Amazon and see. I have several lists of all kinds of different things. I even have a Halloween costume list in there, I think, from a couple of years ago when I created that. So I was buying a bunch of Halloween stuff on there. So there's all kinds of things on there, but it's got all the stuff that I use for my art kit on our travels. So all of the watercolor travel art kit stuff, and also all of the normal stuff that I use.
And it's a great way to send links to people if they're looking for stuff to buy you for Christmas.
Yep.
Okay, I need some brushes. I need some art supplies. Here you go. Check this out.
Yep. And anything that's purchased through going through our links, I think if you put it in your cart, even if you don't use the exact stuff in my lists, if you visit through my link and then buy anything within, I think, 24 hours or something like that, we get a little bonus. So it doesn't cost you anything more.
Right.
But it's just
they just say, hey, thanks for sending us.
Right. Yeah, it's a way
some
to
business.
Get acknowledged that we've sent somebody to their site. So,
Anyways.
Which is nice. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm just kind of adding some of these colors into the water and different things. But like I said, I probably could work on this another half an hour or so. But I think it turned out pretty fun. I like it. Didn't go all the way into autumn. It's still got a lot of green in it. So if you wanted to take it a little bit more autumn, you could do that. Add more oranges and things to some of these bushes. But yeah, I think it's fun.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. And we'll see you next week. We're going to be painting, I think, the red door. Ooh, that was like one of the #1 voted things in my Patreon group. They also get to vote on stuff on that $15 tier, by the way, in case that's something that you want to participate in. They get to kind of help pick my videos from time to time. So
influence the influencer.
that's right. I hate that term. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.